All right, greetings, Jake. Today for Science Broadcast. Welcome to complete another insanity episode 3000. So something like that. Okay, I'm doing Enki again. I'll probably do just get the Anunnaki perspective of drug. Change the title on mine after title here and title what I have. So Anunnaki, Anunnaki, Antarctica, drug addiction, because drugs are pretty popular these days. As always, Sirius in the music industry. Basically, it's just a perspective from Sirius about the music industry's mind control, things like that. And William Shatner, Astronaut channeling. Hopefully, I spelled that right. Astronaut. I'm not sure if I spelled that right, but I think so somewhere. Okay, yeah, William Shatner showed up in my feed, so it's from the future. And maybe he is a little bit arrogant at times, but when you're a badass captain, it goes to your head every once in a while, so comes with the territory. Okay. Wanted to a little bit of what's going on here, a little bit of an update. Of course, it's by not the difference. Avatar.com, we have private sessions. I have the on March 18th for some people. Anyway. It seems like they fixed the same situation here. We have webinar sign up, social network, Rabbit, and behind the scenes. Okay, so Anunnaki, Antarctica, drug seems to be different. So, all right, we'll see where this goes. Greetings, this is Enki, the Anunnaki. Greetings to your society, your current world of events. Antarctica, yes, has a lot of hidden technologies. Knowledge, of course, is not always going to be revealed. It's basically like a chapter of your world that is not released on the planet just yet. It's in the works. Basically, it's astral knowledge that is combining into the ice that comes into the earth. But the ice is water, so that's where astral knowledge comes into the ice and buries itself and waits. So as the ice melts, you have a different world, and it has been melting for some time. So it is not always made public of that, but that is part of the timeline changes that are going about you. So it's shifting the chakras of your planet, and so you connect to a different world, another world. So Antarctica is another place to go to. Obviously, they don't make it for it's not a normal place for people to visit. But if you're there long enough, you can also see other versions of Earth, other versions of yourself. It just has to do with the location of where you are, of course. It doesn't necessarily have to be around the poles. But it just, you feel like you're not yourself. Yeah, you can see a darker side of yourself, also a lighter side of yourself. It's almost like going on a road trip with your family. But this is a little bit better. I mean, a road trip with your family can do the same thing, I guess, if you don't end up killing each other. We recommend more of Antarctica connections, but you can do whatever you want. So, of course, Atlantean knowledge. There's so many hidden civilizations within the ice. At least the knowledge doesn't necessarily have to be the place itself. Of course, much of it is in the ground here on your planet, but it's mostly in the ice. It had frozen itself in time. So evaporated into what it is currently, at least the dimensional, third dimensional side of it evaporated into the ice vibrations. Obviously, that might make much sense to a third dimensional human, but either way. So as the ice melts, also your just awareness of your planet becomes more clear little by little, like downloads. I mean, technically, you can meditate with Antarctica in mind, see what you see. You might see a reptilian looking at you, not too impressed. Well, it's like a guardian of knowledge. So once you look past that, you might even see Egyptian energies there too. And there are timelines, I brought this up yesterday, there are timelines where Rome was supposed to be erased from existence, but instead it was kept around and manipulated through spirituality. Your modern church, of course, your modern church is basically your alien church. Alien beings trying to get through their own difficulties through the human experience. That's another part of like human abuse, child abuse, is some of these aliens that just want to get your attention and show how much pain they're going through. Obviously, it does not justify it, but a lot of them are going through a lot of it just to get. I mean, for some, it's to get your attention about the universe, because the universe feels kind of neglected here. I mean, because it's not known. I mean, how many people are talking about it? Nobody. Well, some. Those of you are awakened and connected to other worlds, and as you connecting to other universes, or other, you're this universe and other universe, you're expanding out yourself. So why abuse happens here, even human trafficking, but truly abuse has to do with beings that are service to self, are letting you know there's more going out there than just your puny little world. That's not all, but there are some that are like that. So yeah, it's not kind. Well, this universe is not kind. I mean, there's parts of it that are, but a lot of it isn't. You have it here. You have the war that's here, as you can see. It'll go reveal itself slowly. Not necessarily through Antarctica itself. I mean, it melts as it does. It's through consciousness. But as you dive more, I mean, even the oceans around Antarctica are very powerful. I can give you knowledge there also. The islands, just the countries. It's or the poles, South Pole, North Pole. If that's something, I mean, you can in a meditation just visualize yourself in the North Pole or the South Pole and see what comes about. You can meditate those vibrations easily. And that's another way of astral projecting. It's going to the North Pole or South and astral projecting somewhere. It's like to kick you off the planet. Of course, it would still be here physically, but that's another way of seeing. It's like yes, you're beaming to other places, basically. Drug addiction. Once again, well, that's of course the soul trying to reconnect to its origins, to that high, a psychedelic world. So you are the drugs that you do. You are what you smoke, and you are those. Some of you are yes connected to elemental worlds where you are mushroom like fairies. I mean, you're fairies, but you get high off of mushrooms basically. I mean, it's part of your DNA, you can say. I mean, some of you are drugs yourself, and if you're a being that is drugs, of course, many beings want to like make love to you and all that because they want your energy. So you have to fight them off, of course. I think some of you have been through that. Why you get attention? Yeah, because they remind them of some kind of, they just pick up on your scent. That's one way of looking at it. But drugs are actually used for medical reasons. Of course, on this planet, it's been expanded and used for the wrong reasons. You don't need your pharmaceutical system as it is. You just use the plant life that's here and remove. I mean, on this planet, obviously, it always has to have a manipulation here in some form. It's just the way it's designed. Doesn't mean it has to be like that always, but it's part of the growth here. Some give away their power. A lot of humans here come from other service to self worlds. A lot of reptilians are here that come from service to self worlds where they're part of the military idea system. They're not ready to, they're just not ready to fully understand themselves or their own power. Not yet. Not when you've been beaten so many times. A lot of them have been going through a lot of difficulties. And some might find fame and fortune here. They might find a lot of good luck, which is good, but they still have a lot of inner healings to do. You're just going into a new dimension of yourselves. Or fourth dimension, multiverses become more part of your society. Where this one timeline means nothing. It's just a starting point. It's just you'll become more aware of. You'll see, like if you're talking to someone, you might see their energy shift to somebody else. Like they might turn into Abraham Lincoln, for example. I don't know why that comes up. I guess he likes attention. Or a person turns into a reptilian. You'll see more of that occur if it needs to. But you're also not just seeing their own energy. A lot of times you're just seeing them in another reality. So you can see a male and then glimpse and turns into a female instantly. Sometimes a past life. It all depends on the situation. So, yeah, this one timeline will seem like nothing in the future. I mean, many of you are seeing future timelines, but you're getting used to multi-dimensional timelines that become more part of your reality. Like, such as the history, such as the future, such as anything. Yourself. And timeline shifts will slowly became obviously major timelines are not going to show themselves. No. Because that's part of your grandeur, that's your voyage, that's your yeah, it's just it's a part of you that doesn't you might sense it. Yeah, you go through inner senses, but to actually see it might not always make itself clear. It's so gross. So because you still have timelines where you can accept it or change your mind. As you get closer to it. Usually they're not seen at all. You just come out of nowhere. That's usually how it operates. But in astral, you see everything very clearly. And yes, that makes many of you kind of distorted here because you see it clearly in astral. You come here and you see nothing clearly. But that's kind of the point. It's part of the amnesia. Well, in the past, the future was allowed to be seen, but many abused it. On many levels, we're just going to leave it general like that. And even now, they kind of abuse it to a certain extent, but not like they did in the past. So, what meaning that they feel like if someone's doing something negative and they look into the future and say they never got caught, they keep doing it. And that happened over and over again. Just for example, such as you keep robbing banks knowing you'll be fine, and then there's this sense, on this date, on this time, that will come to an end. So they keep doing it until, but in this world, you have a chance of change. Of course, you can change it anyway, but knowing the future, many abused it. You will not believe, especially in relationships, with secrets. I believe some of you can tap into that. And some abuse it now because they still have that inner sense about them. So humanity, yes, is having a wake-up call. It's been having a wake-up call for some time. And obviously it's not willing to see it. Not yet. Well, yes, it's not ready for its aliens, or some are. But many are still in the video game of life. Holding on to it for dear life. Because there's a lot of themselves that have not fully discovered yet. And they know they're going to have several lifetimes here to discover it. Yeah, those in the physicality, you'd be surprised how many that are physically third dimension here realize they have a lot of lifetimes here. Well, it's up to them, but this is the world that can serve what they're looking for. You go to other worlds, you'll get it, but not exactly the same way. Well, coming to a world is like cooking. It's kind of like sauteing yourself. You come out as a certain flavor. I mean, not in that way, but you develop yourself in a certain way. You stylize your personality, your character, how you look, and everything, your internal self, in a certain way. every world has a different vibration. Some are looking for this certain vibration to achieve what they're trying to achieve. It's never quite perfect ever. Just like I know using the cooking term might not be the best, but even when you're cooking, things might not always come out perfect. Sometimes, usually it's rare, but that's the point. Nothing's ever intended to be perfect. And that's when you learn new things too, especially when people make wrong decisions all the time. Or sometimes, yeah, you make wrong decisions deliberately. Well, to learn from it. It's like I never tried that before, and you know it's probably not a good idea, but what the hell? Let's see what happens. But even there, you'd be surprised how much you get from it. So even if it is hell on fire, hell on wheels. Blessings. Greetings. We are from Sirius. Yes, your music industry. Hawthorne technology used for the negative on your planet, used to manipulate others. As alien groups have left their technologies here for humans to develop and to expand on. Of course, many of the elites take that knowledge and use it for the negative over the people. Of course, music is a part of soul growth on many levels, basically to heal the soul, to connect you to the higher astral plane, to connect you to more of yourself, to go inner. It's basically also to keep the soul connected to the body. You know, as you get so aggravated, you're ready to release from yourself, ready to. But the music is here to cope and heal and keep you on track. So music plays such a excellent, and even talk show hosts these days, just like people listen to podcasts and things like that. Even if they're not listening, they connect to the vibrations of it. And even just people talking is like a form of music also that keeps you just following your path. So a lot of spirit beings do make sure you find some form of music to keep you in your body and calm down your chakra systems. Obviously, there's a lot of manipulation going on, yes, of course, but realize those are being manipulated by music here are manipulated in other realities too. It's not hard to be seduced, but there's also knowledge there. Some get manipulated on purpose to the music industry to see what that's like. Might not be the smartest thing to do, but I mean, some need it for safety, for their own mental health. Even if this world makes no sense, they're not ready to connect to their spiritual self. Music will keep their sanity through all of this. And some people, it's makeup. Also, it's a little bit of everything. They keep this body going, keep this reality in check in some form or another. But music, yes, is an astral. It's a gift from astral, a gift from spirit. Even in spirit, yes, they have. I mean, even the soul has a sound. It's like you're listening to soul music, so you're actually hearing the music from the soul itself. And that's in rhythm and blues and different genres, of course. So, especially with like harp music, yes, harp music is a astral, heavenly vibration. It's of course there's many others, but it's just it. The harp has a way of just synchronizing the chakras. And depending on where you are spiritually, you listen to harp music or any type of classical music, depending on what it is, what frequency it's at. You might even feel like yourself leaving your body. It's like, oh, is it time for me to go home? Because you're hearing also sounds of what the spirit world sounds like. So I feel like you are there. So there's different ways of looking at how music operates here. There's just different levels that go quite deep that many of you probably, yeah, it's basically the song does sing. I mean, the soul sings. Well, the song sings, I guess. But the soul is always has a rhythm about it. And it might be playing the blues in the reality like this, but some of you are intended for that. Well, because you don't want to be part of the manipulations of the reality as you're connecting to a paradise reality, because you don't want to be pulled into what this world's offering. Because and that's this is why you're so parallel, multidimensional, to keep yourself in check. It's like, remember that world that's not manipulated. So you go there. Obviously, you'd rather be there than here, but that's why you're here, is to bring that energy through you into this reality, to heal it, to unlock the bars of this prison reality. So music is used to hold on to the soul. Well, to, yes, program it. Yeah, it's becoming more programming than ever before. It was in the past, and nothing like this. I mean, they don't even care about what it sounds like anymore. It's all about seducing the soul. I mean, truly, they took creativity and just it's disintegrated. I mean, there is some special independent music groups, but even they're having trouble creating as they used to. It's hard. It's hard to find inspiration when, yeah, archonic energies are manipulating society. Yeah, but it shows they're also coming to an expiration. When that expiration comes is another story. But yeah, when art is no longer art as it used to be, that shows that your exit plan to this reality is coming to an end, and new reality is coming through. A lighter version, you're getting there, but you have to, the darkness has to play itself out within the individual. The individual, obviously, many need their darkness, as you can see. They're not ready to let it go just yet. It's part because it's what it has to offer. It's the movie of reality, the reality that they need. If it's entertainment, it's music, whatever it is, or some kind of manipulated history. Sometimes a manipulated history is better than the true history. It's like the story they give you, like in the museums. Obviously, there's many more stories than they're mentioning. And that itself is a manipulation, of course, that the vibration of the reality feels. Yeah, when you manipulate history, that's a whole nother sound on its own. You can feel the manipulation going on. It goes through media. It's like it's nonstop. It comes from everywhere. It's almost like someone's blowing horns at you from all directions. It's like it's all these agendas being shot at you at once. And that's what you're here to clear. Greetings to you. This is the William Shatner consciousness. Yes, alien beings from another time. Yes, of course, there's going to be some kind of arrogance. Well, somebody has to be in charge. Sometimes you have to be the arrogant one. Well, you want to get your word out. You want to get your message out. On a world like this, it's necessary. Well, it's just that you want that character of Captain Kirk to come out. Technically, this should be called Captain Kirk, the astronaut, but William Shatner is also an astronaut himself too. So the Captain Kirk vibration to come through is, yeah, it's your secret space program. You can say not so much of a secret technically. It's, yes, a modest disclosure, a cheesiness about it. They make it too real, it probably terrify people. Especially when they talk about how telepathic, how a lot of astronauts truly are. I mean, to go on space missions, the idea is to be spiritually engaged. You get spiritually tested, like your capabilities. Can you handle space on a spiritual level? Can you talk to your AI computer? We have a relationship just in case it does go against you, because it can get possessed, that you can outsmart it and bring it back to its normal self. And also to know how to go through space and time without losing yourself, because you can go into space, go time travel into, go into dimensions to travel to other worlds, it even get lost there and come into a parallel reality. That's where your spirituality is very important. That all the crew is pretty much synchronized into each other. As good as it's going to get, because one crew member can set your whole direction off into a whole. You can all of a sudden find yourself in a black hole and not so know how you got there. All because one crew member is having difficulty with themselves. And they sometimes are very good at hiding it. So when you get like you show up in front of a bunch of reptilian ships, it's like how did we end up here? A lot of times it has to do with someone in your crew that's not thinking right. And they have an astral block where you can't read their energy. So it really comes to the vibrations of everyone. Now, in a third dimensional space crew, it's kind of the same thing, not to that degree, but it's good that everyone is on a psychic level. They have a good connection with each other. If you're going into space, you gotta trust each other. So it's kind of the same thing. You know, you're talking the same language, and getting chemistry is key. Because you have one crew member that's not talking or not easy to get along with, and you need their help when you're out in space and something goes wrong. Yeah, everybody's pretty much screwed. You can say your Apollo 13 had some of that. Just the energy of the person can shift and throw your whole mission out the window. And that is same like even in a classroom, as you're just learning regular school, one student or several students can cause difficulty for the learning for others. And it's worse if a teacher's energy is not healthy. It can really screw things up, but that's kind of the journey, isn't it? So the William Shatner energy, yes, agreed upon to be proud of these connections. There's many star systems he's connected to. But to go back into Captain Kirk, which I believe though tap into that future in the future, is basically an energy that yes takes risks. Of course, it's not been shown completely here of how that works exactly. Of how yes, where they can actually move a planet. I don't believe that was in a Star Trek episode. That's one of the missions is actually moving worlds around moons, but also the planet itself. It can happen. Of course, obviously, in your dimension, it's a little bit difficult to do that. So yeah, that's your type of space adventure there, and all the politics that goes into it. And there is a lot of Earth politics that goes into it, or planetary politics. It has to do with moving a planet's. It depends on if anyone's even on the planet. Usually, it's dormant; no one's on it normally. But you move it to where life can grow. That's normally how it works. You don't take a planet full of alien beings and just move it wherever you feel like. It's normally you take a dwarf planet and move it around like a moon, and then life begins to develop itself. In case any of you start doing that anytime soon. We're just giving you a different perspective. But as for alien disclosures, and well, you're having an internal disclosure of unlocking the human self, multi-dimensional selves. Of course, your Earth, your regular humans, obviously they're feeling these energies. They're not liking it. You're going into a new timeline, a major one. That's why you're having the health problems. And even, I mean, there are future Earths where they usually have a pandemic or some kind of situation where it brings in a new age. I mean, you've had it throughout your past here. You just haven't had it brought in space age. So yeah, chaos brings in more art. Art will start to change eventually, become a little bit more wild. And this war is going to start showing more of the true self will start to come out. People will be pushed to their limits, but they have to bring out their artistic self, which also brings out downloads, alien connections, yes, and everything insane that's in the universe.